Hello. How's it going? Hope you're well. I was raised by a Danish mystic grandmother. She was gifted like I was. She was clairvoyant. She was raised by a Rosicrucian Danish stepmother. And she also worked at the Rosicrucian Museum. Growing up, we talked a lot about metaphysics. We talked a lot about reincarnation. We talked about flying saucers, UFOs, um, all things that were common to her. Um, if my grandfather hadn't have survived storming the beaches of Normandy on D-Day, I wouldn't be here. And while he was overseas fighting the good fight during World War II, my grandmother said she would see these huge UFOs. And they lived in San Jose, California, but while he was overseas, all the wives were set up in housing in Jacksonville, Florida. And she said in Jacksonville, Florida, and during the war, they'd look up in the sky and see these huge, massive ships just parked up in the sky, and they would be there for like a day or two and not move. And she talked about reincarnation all the time. She talked about her visions. She had visions and told me about them right after when I was a kid. Another thing is she was not only raised Rosicrucian, but a Christian Scientist. She didn't believe in medicine. She believed in the power of mind to heal. And she had a stroke in 1982 and then passed away in 1990. But she was a part of my life that whole time. But with the stroke, she had all this medicine that everyone was encouraging her to take, and she was against it. She would rather have not had to take all the prescription stuff. Which leads me to talk about the whole Christian Science thing. Not that I really know much about it, but I walked away from modern medicine or using any medicine at all or seeing doctors since 2014. I did have a eye specialist cauterize my retina back to the back of my eye with a laser in 2017, and I'm very grateful for that person saving me from going blind. But aside from that, I don't ever use medicine. I've felt under the weather a couple times since then, and when I did, just a lot of tea and soup got me through it. I don't like anything from big pharma. I've never wanted. My body's good. So that's and so. What's it like to be medicine free, doctor free, in the best shape of my life? I attribute a lot of this to 5D living. Since February 11th, 2023, I have been in a sustained Kundalini state. So that feeling that I've talked about the Kundalini state, and that when I'm in it, I feel connected to all that is. that sensation has not stopped since February 11th, 2023 for me. I've always felt connected with my senses to impulses from around me, receiving messages. You know that movie The Sixth Sense, and that kid says, "I see dead people," I mean, I could say that too, but like more so I see energy, I see auras, I see just fields, and I see more than just the visuals of them. There's like information in it. And that's just, anyway, I had an interesting childhood with my grandmother talking about this stuff. And so let me say some more about this 5D stuff. Your telepathy just grows exponentially. You have side effects like remembering a good handful of your incarnations. That just knowing pops in. And you can recognize who other people were to you when you meet them. That's something it's pretty easy. It's hard for me not to do it, to identify when I meet somebody, to know who they were in the past to me. And, it's cool. I follow my intuition more. I ask guidance for the last couple of years. I'd ask guidance on what to eat and when to rest, and I've made all my choices on what feels best. So with my diet and my exercise, like I don't have an inch of fat on my body. Like my arms and legs have never been as strong as they are now. I feel like I'm in the prime of my physical life. I've never been stronger, healthier, and been medicine free for like 11 years. I love tea with antioxidants, and eating good, healthy ingredients and putting them together in whatever way you want. I love riding my bike. I love lifting my weights. I love punching my bags. Yeah. Anyway, that's some thoughts today about that stuff I talked about with my grandmother. I knew that was stuff we just kept to ourselves, but now it's time I wanted to talk about that stuff. I think it's safe to talk about that stuff. It wasn't when I was a kid growing up. Hey, my grandma and me are psychic. What do you think about that? On the playground, imagine that shit. Yeah. That wouldn't fly. Hope you have a fantastic day. Party on.